So you're looking to move to Durham in 2025. Hi, I'm Domingo with eXp Realty, and in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the market orientation for Durham as if you're one of my buyer clients. I'm going to cover the housing market, the job market, and then some of the developments that you could expect in 2025. In addition to that, I'm going to be going through all that in real time so that you could also learn to fish, so to speak. With that, let's jump into housing. The first thing I like to do with housing is look at the fast stats. And the fast stats is the MLS, multiple listing service. That's a Realtor.com or Zillow.com version for real estate agents. I'm going to look at their market data for November, because I'm recording this in December, to get an idea of what homes are actually going for. So with that, open this up here. All right, so fast stats. These are all recorded sales and none of it's speculative, right? So we're going to go to Durham County, Durham, and here it is. The things that we're going to care about here, I mean, all of these stats are important, but what I want to use to paint the picture is median sales price, average sales price, percent of original list price received, and the percent of list price received. I'll clarify that in a minute. And then of course you could also look at days on market here. On the left, that's last month, 2024 compared to 2023, and then on the right side is the year to date. So let me zoom in a little bit. All right, so median sales price in November, this was 422,000. And comparing this to the average sale price, which is close, for 58,476. Now, these are fairly close to the year to date, 425 for the median, 474 for the average, but it is a little bit under. And so what this means is that things are cooling off in the market, which is to be expected in December. Usually December is the slowest month in real estate. And then for the triangle specifically, usually the end of March or the beginning of April is when the market really picks up. So for the median sales price, the way to read this, for 22,000, if you were to take 100 homes and you price them in order from cheapest to the most expensive, and you take the 50th one out, that's the median sale price. And so that means that half of the sales were at or under 422, half the sales were at or above 422. Right, so pretty important metric for us to know going into this. Now, the average sales price, usually this is going to tell you a story on how much disparity there are between the homes. An example being, if gentrification were to occur and you have a bunch of luxury homes, well, those $1.5 million home sales will drag the average up, right? So if you see a massive difference in the average sales price versus the median, that usually means there's a huge disparity. All right, so moving on to percent of original list price received, 97.4%. Now, the reason why they say original list price is this is what the seller had originally posted it for. And so the vast majority of sales, the seller is not getting what they originally hoped for. Again, consistent with December. But I could also say that 2024, especially the latter half of it, has just been especially slow for whatever reason. Part of it is seasonal, but some of us think it might be also due to just buyer psychology with the elections and whatnot. And so going down to the percent of list price received is 99.2%. So why the difference between 97 and 99.2? It's because the way you read this is sellers post it for the desired price, and then it sits on the market for a while, doesn't sell, and so then they lower the price down, and usually when they lower the price, that's when people are snagging it. Now, this isn't necessarily a conscious decision from buyers, this is just objective data, but looking down here, the average days of market until sale is 23. So this reduction here is probably happening after maybe, let's say, like 2 weeks of sitting on market. That velocity is important because if you saw the average days of market as 7 days, then that would be a strong indicator that people are snagging up properties ASAP, which typically means people are putting above asking prices. So anyways, this is an opportunity for you if you want to buy homes for a better deal. Just know that the inventory is probably less than what you're going to find in spring and summer. All right, coming out of this, we have median sales price, 422. I'm going to go on to Zillow.com, and then I'm going to look for properties that are below, at, and above that, and then physically go out there to show you what those areas look like. So you have an idea of what your money actually gets you relative to if you were to be there in person, right? Because pictures paint a good idea of the physical characteristics of the property, but it doesn't necessarily paint the full picture of what's around it. All right, so over here, Zillow, Fayetteville Rentals. All right, so type in Durham, North Carolina. We want for sale, any. I'm gonna just do houses for this, detached homes that is. In my mind, most people prefer to see where their money gets for a detached home, and then if they can't find something, then they move on to one of these more high density options. All right, Go back here, 422. So let's just say 400. We're gonna cap out the price at 400K. This is not bad, quite a bit. Let me zoom back out a little bit. I could say from my own personal experience of being in Durham, North Durham tends to be where you notice the lower price point homes to be. And then over here in this little eastern pocket are a lot of homes that people, especially with starter level homes, are buying for cheaper and then just fixing it up themselves. Durham is a great place for that. Now, downtown Durham here surprisingly has more here. So let's look at, what does this give you? 275. I want to see what this looks like in person because the pictures look pretty decent. So why is it 275? I mean, it is only a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 965. Let's look at something that's at 100K over 3.3, 159. I didn't see. Let's look at this one. 2, 3, 2. So usually whenever you see 1 bathroom like this, that's a bit of an obsolete design, usually done in like the 60s. Let's see when this was built. 1930. So that makes sense. All right, we're gonna go with this one. Put that here. So paste in the address so I know where to go later. Okay, so we have a cheaper home. Let's change this to 500 and let's put the minimum to 400. So not as concentrated here. So you start to expand to the south a little bit more and even further east right here, closer to RTP. So I'm actually gonna look for, I'm fairly certain I've been to this neighborhood several times. Space. What was the median again? 422? Let's do this one. This is as close to the median as we're gonna get. And one of the reasons why I'm specifically looking at this area, because these sort of development subdivisions are a bit more recent. I mean, this one's 2014, but in terms of popularity, you're starting to see more of this pop up and like with development and whatnot, especially when it orbits Research Triangle Park. So let me put that there. And we're gonna call this the average experience, right? All right, so for this next one, any price over 500. I feel like there's more homes at, wait, hold on. We're not in Durham anymore. We are, but we want this boundary. So these are probably newer developments, more so than the last one. I don't think they're like brand new. 2016, so it's just slightly newer. So down in the southern pocket, because we haven't been there yet. 1994, interesting. So you could see here, concentration of luxury homes, 43188 at $1 million. Yeah, that's better than close to downtown Raleigh. Close to downtown Raleigh, you're looking at this roughly. It'd be like 4 beds, 3.5 at like 2,700 square feet for over $1 million. So if you're in that price point, I mean, these homes are still going better than other areas of the triangle. But let's just say, oh, these are all new. Let's go here. Actually, I don't know if we want to go here. This might literally just be dirt, sample built home. Okay, we'll go to this general area. So with that, we're gonna take a little bit of a break from behind the computer, get out there and see what these 3 homes actually look like in person. All right, so we're back in the office, and the next thing I want to talk about is jobs. Now, the job market is probably, I would say, the most significant thing for the triangle. Like if you were to ask locals, some people find the lifestyle to be a little bit bland or moderate, which for me is fine. I like outdoor stuff, right? Which the triangle does pretty well. Or people will say, oh, the housing is unaffordable, which relative to the income is actually true, right? It just depends. But jobs, everybody generally agrees that because of the Research Triangle Park and the amount of development, it's definitely one of our stronger sectors here. Now, generally, you have government, you have retail, construction, those are all 3 given. But Research Triangle Park is technically in Durham. Now, I wouldn't really claim it as a unique feature to Durham because it's smack in the middle of the triangle, and so everybody has access to it. But tech and bio are huge, and then education as well, and most notably being higher education with Duke University. So with that, I'm gonna hop on to LinkedIn.com and go through this as if I was searching for a job, or at least just to see what's around Durham, North Carolina. Because, you know, I could tell you all day what kind of jobs are here, but you're going to care much more about what's actually hiring. So 82,000 results within 0 miles. Let's see what we get. Real estate, that's probably the algorithm tailoring it to me. Durham Bulls. So in terms of lifestyle, this is one of the biggest staples. The Durham Bulls is I think it's a semi-pro baseball team, and I don't really care for baseball. People who like baseball say it's fun, but I have been to the game and they do a fantastic fireworks show. So anyways, Durham Bulls, big player out there. The tickets are cheap. But anyways, they're looking for people. Clorox company. Clorox is a place committed to growth. Is this like Clorox, like literally like the cleaning product? Fulfillment network manager. Distribution centers. Okay, so distribution, transportation, logistics, things like that. Sales, more real estate, finance, project manager. Let's see what else. Sales, blah, blah, blah. Remote work, that's common. Policy manager for Airbnb. Interesting. I'm an Airbnb host for a couple of places, and I would not have expected them to advertise that for Durham, but it is remote. So Epic Data Center Operations is Epic Games. Anyways, tech. That's the point of this. So I was trying to show a lot of the big players that are recruiting at the moment. But yeah, within the tech industry, obviously that's going to be a huge one. Environmental, sales, competitive intelligence manager. By pairing technology with commit, so more tech. NVIDIA, tech. FBI, cool. Developer, relations, tech. All right, yeah, so this is starting to paint the picture of what kind of jobs you're going to find here mostly, right? More tech, maintenance. What I'm looking for, just to show you, is medical. Actually, let's just look at companies, right? Oracle, Food Line, so retail. IQVIA, so this is bio. This is like research for, I think it's testing for products. They're one of the biggest employers here. So manager, lab project service, clinical trial assistant. Yeah, so 3 pages of jobs with IQVIA. I think I'm saying that right. But anyways, yeah, one of the biggest biotech companies here. Let's see what else. Interesting. So let's type in Duke. No matching jobs for Duke. Well, I guess I'm looking for a job title, but no, skill or company. Maybe Duke is just doing this thing where they're lumping themselves under a separate thing. Nope. Anyways, I don't need to get into the details with that. I'm sure you could just go on the Duke University if you're in the education sector and look at that. Because they also have a lot of research positions, medical positions, faculty and staff, all of that. So really the only other point of me walking you through this, right, with the 0 mile marker here is most of the commute that you could probably expect is 25 minutes or under. And then obviously if you want to live in one of the suburbs, you're probably looking at a commute time of about 25 to 40 minutes depending on how far you are. The thing about living in Durham is you also have access to Chapel Hill much more conveniently than the rest of the triangle. So you could also expand your job search there. But because of the Research Triangle Park at RTP, Durham is very well situated for entry-level jobs or even jobs for people that are in college and high school, all the way up to senior positions. So you could really plant roots here if you want to. With that, let's go into the developments for 2025. All right, for developments, I'm gonna do a number of things. Head over to Google, discover Durham. This is a decent spot to start off. I don't think they officially work for the government, but they work alongside of them. So this is just kind of usually get a general idea of things to do. Because yeah, arts and entertainment, this is honestly what I would say Durham is most known for. This looks to me like the Durham Performance Arts Center. Let me see. Okay, so here, by the way, Art Walk and Gallery Crawl. I've been to this before, and it's pretty chill. I mean, they basically just fence off a couple roads, and there's vendors that go and set up, and just have a lot of like cool things for sale. But it's just kind of a nice vibe to go to. Every third Friday, I'm trying to see if there's any pictures. Yeah, like a lot of shops there will have little events and stuff like that bring people together, music, stuff planned into the night, things like that. I've probably been to this art gallery as well. Durham Performing Arts Center, Broadway at the Durham, right? So you're gonna see a lot of things here. When I was there last, there was a stand-up comedy. I don't remember who the performer was. But this right here, the art-filled trip to Durham, like that's oftentimes how me as somebody who doesn't live in Durham views Durham is it kind of is a bit more culturally expressive than the other parts of the triangle. And maybe this is just because of the university, who really knows? So while you're not gonna have any of that major liveliness that you would get in a place like DC, Durham has a lot going on, right? And it gets you outside if you like being outside. It's family friendly and just overall a pretty chill vibe. So let's go back to things to do, or let's look at events. There's other things to do, by the way. Like there's a lot of trails. There's a really good rock climbing gym there. For anyone that's just randomly in the combat sports, apparently their MMA scene is pretty good. But this scene right here, that's pretty common for Durham. Let's see. So yeah, you just go here, look at the different events. You can see that they're pretty regularly hosting Christmas lights. So yeah, just things that bring people together. So that was number one. These are things that already exist that you could plan on in 2025. You're looking at this from like a lifestyle perspective. What is life going to be like if I live there? The second thing that I want to cover is what's being developed in Durham. So for that, back to Google. And we're going to use a site, a third-party site called Durham Economic Development. Click that there. The reason why I'm doing this, I could just show you, is most cities have an interactive map that tell you all of the active construction and whatnot. Durham is just not as user-friendly, which is weird because they actually have a lot of maps and they do a pretty good job with it, right? Durham School Locator, Police to Citizen portal events. I think that's like arrests and others, like calls maybe. Just development tracker. So maybe this has the layers. Click on this because I'm trying to give you tools that you could use on your own. So these are the layers that it has. And let me just show you how this is not that helpful. Well, city housing is actually kind of, you could see a lot of city housing investment areas are more or less straight down on the offshoots of 147. Let me go elsewhere. So planning, development cases. Let's look at that. Boom. Like really? I don't even think I could filter street closing. Be my guest if you want to go through this, but I'm not. So not helpful. They have other stuff that's helpful though. So anyways, Durham Economic Development, third-party site, pretty decent, right? Some basic stats they're gonna show you. So this median household income, 80K. This is what people are going off of when they say that housing affordability is an issue. Because as the cost of homes goes up, if the median household income does not also go up to match that, then it's gonna create a disparity. Even if the homes are cheaper than other places like New York City, it could still be hard to own it. Population, labor force, whatever. These three dots here are mostly why I actually use this website. They're gonna give a pretty much bottom line up front of major things to consider that are coming. So Iona picks Durham for global headquarters. All right, that's a pretty big deal. 200 jobs, $2 million coming. It's just announced. So there's a new Apple campus and it's been projected for, since before I even moved to Raleigh, and like it just keeps getting kicked down the line. So take all this with a grain of salt, but what you're gleaning from this is the opportunity for either professional growth or potential in the future, or just quite simply as a homeowner, appreciation. You may be thinking, I'm gonna move to Durham or the Triangle to try it out. I don't know if I wanna buy, and that's a fair play. But if you're gonna say, I'm gonna move to Durham, I'm gonna plant roots, I'm gonna settle there for at least 10, 20, 30 years, well, the time to capture equity is now then. I say now, like obviously it's situation dependent on your own personal finances and what's going on in your life. But in a vacuum, right? When you see things like this, you hear things like the Apple campus, who knows if it's gonna come here. I know there's companies leaving too, but Biogen, 200 million for gene therapy facility. Chempower, actually don't know what Chempower is. Finnish company, 41.25 million, 601 jobs. Okay, electric charging stations. So this is just to kind of paint some sort of an idea, right? Now I do prefer doing the city's interactive map so that you could see hubs or concentrations of development. But you could play around with some of the tools that I've shown you today to get some sort of an idea with regards to the area that you think you're most interested in moving to. But this just paints a picture of the closer to RTP you buy, the more equity you could expect to capture. Technically speculative statement, but the indicators point that direction. All right, so that's everything that I want to cover for what to expect in 2025, because I covered some of the lifestyle events, and then through showing you some of the homes, you should have a general idea of what the area kind of looks like. And then we talked about what sort of jobs are currently hiring and whatnot. So in conclusion, Durham is a decent spot to move to in 2025. I would recommend going out there, visiting it in person to see if you like the culture and the lifestyle, because most of the people that I know, so I'm 32, so most people in my age bracket prefer Durham. They say like Raleigh's a bit of a younger crowd. They're thinking in colleges and stuff like that. At the end of the day, people just have their preferences, right? There's pros and cons of both. And so I would head out there, see if you like what Durham has to offer, and then use the tools that I showed you in this video closer to the time when you actually buy. It's looking like Durham is trending upwards if you're looking at it from an equity perspective, and it offers a variety of homes at all price points. So with that, if you'd like to see inside any of the homes that I showed today, reach out to me. We could set up a one-on-one appointment. And if you're interested in getting your home buying journey started, also reach out. I'd be happy to help with that. So with that, happy holidays, and I'll see you next week.